I'm just trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to their mother, everything to everyone. Up and at 'em bright and early, I'm all business in my suit. Yeah, I'm dressed up for success, from my head down to my boots. I don't do it for the money, there's bills that I can't pay. I don't do it for the glory, I just do it anyway. Providing for our futures, my responsibility. Yeah, I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. I can't call in sick on Mondays when the weekend's been too strong. I just work straight through the holidays, sometimes all night long. You can bet that I stand ready when the wolf growls at the door. Hey, I'm solid, hey, I'm steady, hey, I'm true down to the core. And I will always do my duty, no matter what the price. I've counted up the cost, I know the sacrifice. Oh, and I don't want to die for you, but if dying's asking me, I'll bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. I'm an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. I'm out here on the front lines, sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American soldier. Yeah, an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. I'm out here on the front line, so sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American, an American. An American soldier.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Veterans Day. The welcome to Transitional Radio's Thinking Re-envisioned. Again, Veterans Day show. That just gets me every time, and I appreciate you just joining. My tribute to everyone and all the veterans out there. I want to thank all of our veterans for their service, and to say that it is my honor to have walked among you. Thinking Re-envisioned is now the number 2 rated show on IPMNation.com. Thank you, Brian. And I wish to thank you all for making that possible and getting us into that number 2 spot. Thank you so much. I also wish to welcome all on this Veterans Day 2018, veterans and supporters alike. My name is Henry G. Noel, and I'm your host. I wish to thank you for joining me this Sunday evening on this, our, seventh episode. We are live this evening from Cuenca, Ecuador, and broadcasting on IPMNation.com, Thinking Re-envisioned's Facebook and YouTube pages. I wish to thank our listeners from all over the globe, those listening on live radio, those listening to our rebroadcasts, and you, our fly on the wall video listeners. I'd also like to welcome our new listeners from Peru, Switzerland, Denmark, Mexico, Thailand, Albania, Bangladesh, Japan, and Liberia. That's 7 episodes, 29 countries. It's great to have you tuning in. I wish to thank our friends at Wirecast for making it possible for us to actually be broadcasting live and globally. To all our listeners who wish to participate in this show, again, email me at henry@henrygnoel.com. It is my wish to present a show where everyone can be as actively involved as they want. Thinking Re-envisioned. We're here to make you think. We're here to make you question. Question everything. Now, we trust that you have had an enjoyable weekend thus far, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. So let's get into the thread. Let's say hi to see what's on the minds of everybody who's tuning in. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And again, thank you for allowing me to put that little tribute up for our veterans. It's the least that I can do. It's an amazing experience. Rita, thank you for being here. Joseph Haggerty, always great to see your name there. Marie, thank you so much for joining us. Wayne, couldn't be here without you. Alice, thank you so much. Candace, always wonderful. I love the hearts when I see them. That's great. Let's see, who else do we have down here? We've got, and there's Joseph. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Joseph. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Congratulations to you, because it's you guys that have done this for me. And, and I appreciate it. We want to get the word out. We want to let people to understand who we are, what we're about, and that we're just not going to take just the everyday mashugana from anybody, that we're going to stand up in their face. We're going to be defiant. We're going to do the things that we need to do for us. We take first seat. And it's time that we start acting like that we start being ourselves, defend ourselves, and stop letting this world get to us and tear us down. So for everybody out there, all of our veterans worldwide, and for anyone who serves in any military, this day is for you guys. It's really a good big day in the United States and elsewhere around the world where we do serve. And we can have all the arguments and disagreements on what that all means, but today is Veterans Day. Being a veteran, and most of my kids were veterans, are veterans. One is actually a veteran right now. He's actually in the service right now, active duty. So my hat's off to all of you. A big salute to you all. I wanted to make this a tribute to Veterans Day, and so I really wanted to keep the topic on Veterans Day and what it's all about. And I think that when I posted the post this afternoon, my contention is, I know we do an awful lot for the vets, and the vets have sacrificed a lot for us, and my concern is, I know we support them, we back them up. And I just wanted to get your opinions. Is what we do outside of the military for our veterans, is it balanced? Is it enough? Or do they sacrifice way more than what they get in return? And I just wanted your opinion on it too. I just wanted to get what you feel. And absolutely right, Candace. Yes, Glandis Field, absolutely fabulous poem. Thank you very much, Joseph. It's very difficult. I thought, just outside of the nerves and all of that, but to stand here on a day like this, having been a vet, actually, I guess you don't quit being a vet. I guess you are one. It sinks in a little harder. And I can tell that with a lot of the ums that I'm doing this evening. I tend to get a little bit more speechless with this because it's tough. It's a hard lesson. We did what we did because we was our responsibility. It was we believed that this was the thing that we were supposed to do, and And there are elements within my own life and my changing where I question that. But when it comes push comes to shove, I don't regret a minute of it because it's part of who I am, part of what formed me. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Welcome to the show. It's great to see you. Thank you so much. I love the Santa hat. um, so veterans everywhere, all of you out there, those that are veterans, those that support veterans, those that have relatives that are veterans or active duty military personnel, anywhere in the world. Again, I salute you. It is hard, being a veteran, being overseas, being away from family, and then being the family that has to deal with the veteran being away. And I've gotten to do both with my kids, having been 3 of my 4 kids have been in the military, and one is still. And so I've learned what it was like, what my family went through, my parents went through when I left, and my brother when he had to go. It was, I know it was hard on them. I know it was hard on them to see their kids go in the military, and as it was for me, as watch my children go into the military. It is a very, very humbling experience. Pride, yes, we can argue it, and we'll call it, all of these programmings and all of this stuff on what we talk about, and but there still is that moment in you that still ends up being very prideful. So again, Joseph says it's sad that politics affects our sons and daughters in terms of military actions, and Joseph, I totally agree with you. It is so hard. It is it's so difficult to 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 be a veteran, to have your children there, and I agree with you. And I think that I still would love to see, if a politician wants to have a war, they can go fight it if they want. Get in the boxing ring and duke it out, and whoever wins, they're the ones that win. Because I think the sacrifice is just too great. There is no value on human life, and the and to me, it's too big of a price to pay. I don't think anybody should die for someone else's ideal. I don't think that that's the way it is. But I've done it. I mean, I was there, and you sign that contract up to and including your life, and you never know. So it is very hard. It's a tough job to do, and nowadays, being with the political correctness and the the things that the military people have to go through, walking into a village where normally they would have just gone in and just wiped out the village. Now you have to be very careful and make sure that the women, children, the people not participating in the battle are there. And of course, you have the element that hides behind the skirts of the women and the children. So it is extremely hard, and I don't envy anybody in the military now, because it is such a difficult job to do your job. And you really hope that the years you spend in the military are actually peaceful. That you don't have to go to war. That you don't have to do the things that you signed on to go do. It's again, it's always somebody else's decision, certainly not ours. Candace says it's a humble job now, and some don't have the choice. No, you're right, and they don't, and it's very difficult. It really is hard. So I like I said, this is a tough evening for me. So just understanding where we are and what we're doing with it. So again, veterans all over, happy Veterans Day for the military active duty. Thank you, men and women, for what you're doing, the sacrifices you're making. And I know we're getting over there. We're broadcasting over to that part of the world where you all are. So my humble thank you for what you're doing and the sacrifices that you're making for us. It's not that it's not going unnoticed. There may be not a lot of appreciation, but it doesn't go unnoticed. And my time in service was from 1969 to 1973. So I'm part of the group that was the no thank you veteran. we didn't have that pleasure coming home to open arms. We were the enemy, and that's the hard part to realize, that that's part of our history. that even the veterans were frowned upon. It's hard. It's a job. Somebody has to do it. Sadly, somebody has to do it. And my hat's off to those who volunteer to do this. So thank you very much. Everybody, honestly, yes, without the military, Kansas, I don't know what we, you're right. I don't know what we do either. I says, Joseph says, it is up to the U.S., the citizens, to recognize and protect our troops. Life is a high cost to squander in power plays of false flag events. Absolutely true, Joseph. I absolutely agree. Hey, Brian, welcome. It's great to see the thumbs up. Thank you, Brian. It is tough, and it's hard for us veterans to stand back and watch people pass veterans in the airport and absolutely ignore them like they're a piece of trash. And you have that right to do that because of what that person in uniform just is doing for you. So it is hard. As Rita mentioned, we never not say hello and thank a veteran or a military personnel, because it is if you realized how lonely it is out there, and living under stress and the fear of you being killed at any moment, it is a frightening experience to have to go through. So again, my hat's off to you guys. Sorry about that. I apologize. Wow. I do thank you all for putting up with this. You're out there in whatever makeshift security you can find, hoping that somebody will pass you by, and that bullet that comes through is not for you. And it's a tough way to live your life every day. Joseph, yes, never, ever forget the sacrifices that are made, and we lose enough in actual conflicts to create a situation that is not real or really not warranted, and that lose people, lose civilians, and military personnel for the sake of a plan to instill fear in everybody. Sorry, it's not acceptable. It has to stop. It has to stop. Washington, D.C., you have to stop this. No agenda is worth the sacrifice of lives. And the more it continues, the more it comes back to you all. So this is where it goes. There's just no other place it can go. It's those that make the decisions. It's those that sign the dotted line, that say, okay, this is what we're going to go do. We're going to do this. We're going to turn over this government. We're going to install this banking system. We're going to take away this religion. We're going to take away this right. Man, it ain't worth it, man. World domination is not worth it. And I hope you all learn it. I hope at some point you learn it. And perhaps the squabbling between you will keep you busy enough to where you won't be sending any more people in harm's way. God can only hope. So, yeah, it is very interesting that we are in 2018, spread out probably in more countries. There are more American military personnel in more countries in the world now than there ever has been in the past. Something's wrong with that picture. There's something really wrong with that picture. It's not. We don't need it. We don't need it. We pound our chest on how good the United States is. You listen to the politicians saying we're the strongest country in the world. We're the number one country in the world. And here we are, sending military. If we were so strong, why do we need to have the military out there? Candace says some just are disrespectful and unappreciative for the freedoms the military and the law enforcement agencies give us. Absolutely true. And it is so hard. It's so easy to point a finger. It really is. It's so easy to point blame. A police officer shoots a child because they feel they're going for a weapon, or the military is accidentally, shoots a child or a woman during a conflict. Yeah, does it happen? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does. And the problem with that is it's so easy to point a finger. It's very difficult to be in those shoes. for you to make that same decision. And of course, everybody doesn't have the responsibility because they simply say, well, that's what they're paid to do. This is what they understand. They're trained to do this. No, no, they're human beings. And there's a far cry from the day and age of when warriors were the ones that fought wars, not everyday people. And there's a warrior clan amongst humans. And yes, they are the ones that do the fighting. But we're all not warrior class. Not everybody fits into that. And to strap a helmet on somebody and give them a gun and show them a picture and say, this is your target, it doesn't work. It's not the warrior class mentality. It just isn't the way it is. And the sooner they learn it, the sooner we'll be better off. Again, and I proclaimed this 100 times, men are never going to get us out of war. The only time I can see I see war ending is when women stand up and say, you're simply not going to take my children. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see now that the power shift is heading toward the women in politics. Joseph says it's the attainment price, the ultimate price that a country can pay. Yes, it is. And to me, losing one citizen for a political agenda, losing one citizen for a religious agenda, losing one citizen for one group of people's ideals. I'm sorry, that's not worth it. It just isn't. Hey, Matt, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Great to see you show up. Thank you so much, Matt. So yes, we have a long haul to go as a country and as citizens. Remember, regardless of what Washington wants to say, the Constitution still is of the people, by the people, for the people. Our politicians may not be doing that. They may not be following that. They may think it's all about them. And at this moment, yes, it is about them because that's really how it's been set up. But by placing the right people in the right positions, by going back far enough, getting involved in the local stuff where you can groom the politicians yourselves, maybe we can make an effective change. Maybe we can't, but at least we can certainly attempt it. Joseph says, never want to be on the wrong side of history. I don't think politicians think things out. It's easy to send others. Yes, it is, Joseph. Excuse me. Being on the wrong side of history is the perfect way to look at it. The history is written by the victors. And if you ever want to know the truth, just ask any Cathar. They'll tell you the history is written by the people that win the wars, and they get to teach it, and they get to show it and write it the way that they want to do it to make themselves look good. Look at the history of the United States and the Native Americans. The history of America is written by the people that won all those battles. So doesn't make it right. Certainly doesn't make it history, because as we know and we're finding out, as you do take the time to investigate, history is all wrong. It's not the way it is, and we have to respect that. We have to accept that and understand that we are at fault. We have done major things that are wrong. Candace says I was referring to walking past and treating them like trash. Yes, absolutely. It is hard. Especially the active duty personnel and police officers. I mean, we rag on TSA and we rag on all of these folks, and they're doing their job. And they're doing their job because a handful of people have done things that warrant those jobs. Now, again, I think on the Joseph side of this, I would say, it's partially a false flag, because we didn't have to go to these extremes in order to prove a point. We didn't have to go to these extremes to make the country secure. There's a whole lot less that could have been done that would still secure the country. The bottom line is that's not the way it is. The Patriot Act gives them carte blanche, and that's what will happen. So it's hard. So anyway, again, I'm down to about 3 more minutes, I guess, so I can be done by about 8:20, 8:50, 8:58. So again, I want to thank you all for this. And again, anybody else has got any opinions, please let it go. It's I just felt that veterans deserved the day. They deserved our attention, deserved to be recognized, and to have our humble thank you sent out and hopefully accepted by them, because it is so rare that they are thanked, and they go through hell and back in order to do their job, and they are stifled and handcuffed all the way down the line to do their job safely. So my hat's off to you again. I salute you. I am proud. It's an honor for me to walk among you veterans. And so I want to thank you for that too. So Ruth, Juanita, welcome to the show. I'm glad to see it. We're about ready to phase it out here, but I'm glad that you were able to join in at least. Candace says, I'm praying for all, and God bless. It's truly a sad day. Candace, thank you. It is. We have too many cemeteries occupied by too many young men and women who don't deserve to be there. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wind down. I know it's probably about a minute early. I'll just rustle up my brother so he can get ready for the closing. Again, I want to thank you. I want to wish everybody Veterans Day, a thank you for the Veterans Day celebration. Thank you for letting us do this. And again, I thank you for placing us up and giving us enough faith to put us in the number 2 spot on IPM Nation. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate that. Everybody, good evening. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Hasta luego.